Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I would like to start my speech with a statement, with a belief that I really strongly agree with. I believe good leaders ask great questions. You may think why the question is so important. The simplest answer to that is you only get to answers for the questions that you asked. Right? If you don't ask, you don't get it. But more profound answer is, but when you ask a question, that triggers human brain to focus on that question and deep dig inside to come up with a good, real answer for that question. So for example, if we have people among us who are the psychologists, who are the therapists or life coach, know that the best way for us to help the client is by asking questions. Am I right? Anybody in that profession agree with me?
Gentleman in the corner there.
By asking questions, right? In this profession, all we do is ask questions. By asking right, effective questions, we help the client to come up with right answers. As a human being, we are conditioned to answer the questions. We cannot not to answer the question that is asked. So the asking question is very powerful on its own way to help the people, but also the people who ask the question. By asking question, both parties will be benefited. Not only the person who asks the question, but the person who answers the question also get the benefited as well. If you want to be successful and reach higher potential in your life, you have to embrace asking question as a lifestyle. Have you ever failed? Have you ever had this feeling that you don't ask a question just because it's too full, too dumb to ask? Have you ever had this experience? I did, many times in the past. Just because I just embarrassed to ask the question, it was stopped me from gaining the knowledge, gaining the experience. By doing that, I missed the opportunity to learn. Later I learned, for me to learn and grow, I had to let go my ego, and I have to be brave enough to face the possibility of looking foolish, to go and ask the question. If you want to ask the question, you must have to ask the right question. Right question, right person, right timing is a powerful combination, because you will get the answers for the success. IBM founder Peter Drucker said, IBM founder Thomas J. Watson said, the ability to ask the right question is more than the half battle of finding the answers. That is true only if you're willing to ask the question. Secondly, the questions unlock the doors, otherwise remain closed. In the life's journey, we have many doors that we come across. Behind these doors was full of possibilities. It leads to opportunities, it leads to experience, and leads to people. But the doors must be opened, and the way to open these doors are the asking question. The management expert Peter Drucker said it once, my greatest strength as a consultant is to be ignorant and ask few questions. Obviously, he knows the secret. Successful leaders ask questions and have a desire to pick the other people that they met. They learn from them, no matter who they met. And number 3, question also the most effective way to connecting with others. Isn't it how we learned here in Toastmasters? Often the great speakers start their speeches with a question, and sometimes they end with a question. And by leaving the questions and the speech with a question, they leave the audience with something to think about or something to reflect on. Last Tuesday, here in Toastmasters, I was an evaluator for Rafael. I don't think he's here today. He did just that. He started his speech with a rhetorical question, and he ended his speech with a rhetorical question. And at the same time, last week, he won the Best Speaker of the Night. The question is a powerful tool for your communication. The word communication comes from the root Latin word called communis, which means common. Before we communicate, we have to find the commonality. The more commonality you have with other people, there's greater potential for communication and connection. The goal of effective communication is prompt people to think. Isn't it interesting, sometimes you met someone, you met for first time, but you can speak with them for hours as if you know them for all along. That all comes from that question. So the asking good question, it leads you to connection. This works in all different settings, including social setting. So the gentleman here, if you need to get the number of that pretty girl in the bar, the best way to approach her is with the question. The key is ask the right question. Asking right question in the right time is the key. So when it comes to question, I have 2 golden rules for it. 1, what you ask matters, and second is how you ask that matters. So in conclusion, ask the question and believe that opens the doors for new people and new possibilities. The final and the last, not the least quote, the statesman and philanthropist Brendan Ruth said, "Millions of people saw the apple fall, but Newton is the only one who asked why." And that's the power of question.